Good afternoon, everybody. Saion here. I'm going to put together a couple of things I wanted to point out. First, I want to say great job on ratings so far. It was kind of a struggle the last couple of days. Attendance, we really need to make sure that we're hitting up attendance on a consistent basis so that way we can get the necessary people present. The more we have, naturally, the more pieces drop because of percentages, which is viable. Also, you need to be there for, especially when for normal, just as much as you need to be there for heroics as you can. Remember, we try to shoot for at least 75%, but let's be honest, let's try to get there for every day, so that way we can make sure we have a really good team that we're able to field. I'm working on recruitment currently, which is doing pretty well. We're at least getting responses, which is great. We did bring in a DPS, which I posted in the leadership thread to allow them to take a look at. The individual also has tanking gear and experience. They're 703, 706, working forward. And as far as content, they've done exactly where we're at. They're about one heroic kill behind us, which is outstanding. So they're going to fit in really good. Couple of items that I want to go ahead and show real quick are here. Dropbox links will be available shortly. It seems that the link for all of the outlines ended up having so much global traffic from people visiting the website and clicking on it that they suspended the link, and I'm waiting on a response, which is 1 to 3 days. If that's not valuable, then what I'm going to end up doing is just making sure that every single one of the outlines are copy pasted, at least in the forums under the bosses, and then probably just move all the documents over to Facebook where you can just download them in that format there. Okay. Two elements that I added to the forums recently that I'd like to get your opinions on, so if you could take a look at them and give me some insight, is under the bosses for Cormrock and also Iron Reaver. I used this before in BRF, but what I wanted to do is do the boss blueprints for all of the bosses and kind of get your opinions on them. So for example, like when we make adjustments and whatnot, we always know the shape. So for Iron Reaver, one of the big issues was like, this is where everybody was. See my pointer? It's like, there are people here, and there are people here, and there are people everywhere. So this is the form that we want to try and keep. And what we're going to do is we're going to put down 3 flags to start the fight, and then a flag at the focal point of where the boss is going to be, and then a flag that's going to be represented for where the tanks are going to be taking the artillery as it comes through. And then there's going to be 3 designated healers to the 3 flags, and they're going to get symbols on top of their head. So what that is when, like, Group 1 will have, for example, an assortment of players in it. Group 2, same. Group 3, same, right? So it's 1 healer plus 4 players. And what you're going to do is, like, you'll always know as far as which healer you need to be at. So, like, say, for example, healer 3 over here is blue flag, or we'll do diamond. We'll do purple flag with diamond on their head. Everybody that's in group 3 needs to be around in that area there, so that way you can make sure you're healed. So that'll be your side, and this kind of reinforces also the video that I posted recently involving you finding a spot that works best for you on a fight, and then that's like your spot, and then everybody kind of finds their spot, and then that's it. So regardless of when the barrage comes through or the adjustments, or say for example the boss, which is skull here, moves over to here or moves over to here, for example, we can always adjust ourselves to exactly where they're at, and then we can form up the exact same shaping just by having a few markers on different people. So if you can take a look at that and then give me your opinions on it, I'd sure appreciate it. I did the same for Cormrock. It's available here. Same thing. We pull through here, and then we keep a box shape until he jumps into the purple, and then once he goes into the purple, you see an arrow. I could probably do a little bit better on the arrow, but that kind of stuff I'll clean up in the future. And then we are in the center. This allows us to have heals in this section here. DPS is here. Basically, we all move to here when the root occurs on the tank with the 40-yard explosion, and then we deal with the runes in this area here until we're stacking, and then from that point on, it's just a burn. So if you can take a look at them, see what you think, that'd be awesome. I added another piece of material too under, hold on, I got a couple of SGI clicks I can do. I'm recruiting why I'm doing this video in-game and posting in /2. Busy guy, right? You've got the law breakdowns for players. These are turning out really good. We've got lots of views, lots of replies. Everyone's damage has been improving for those that have been attending on a consistent basis. So let's keep up that work. Don't let off the gas. Let's keep pushing for that growth. Trying a different format with Sills because healing, it's a new area to kind of talk about it, because like I've holy healed, but I've never resto druid healed. Right now I'm just working through Feral and having a blast with it, by the way. Feral is totally fun. So what I did was for Sills, we just put a bunch of links in a YouTube video to kind of do it, and then we went back and forth in communication after doing some analysis. These are, if you clicked on this, These are comparisons of the links available that he participated on, and then a top druid as far as a performer in the last couple of weeks, probably like 14 days or 7 days is usually what I do. And then for myself, since I haven't done one in a while on myself for holy, I did one for tanking about maybe 4 weeks ago. I did one for myself, and I connected it here. And then, which you'll be able to see, give it a second to upload. See, then it opens it up. So you can download and you can take a look at it. And it's basically just a comprehensive worksheet. I'm going to go ahead and bring the camera over to the other one here. So I just got to click this and move it, hopefully, right? There we go. Hope that wasn't too crazy. Alright, so here, what I did was a breakdown of consistencies that I saw initially as far as what they were doing, so that way I can apply them. And then I went and did analysis of watching the replay, watch where they were standing, where they were typically healing from. I usually looked at 1 to 2 fights just to kind of do it. In total time, I was able to do this in about an hour, hour and a half. And then to type up another half an hour in conjunction with that. So about 2 hours total time for creation. It shows percentages of, most used spells and why, who they used it on and why. You'll see, for example, for a lot of the top end performers, they're clearly healing into a group of people. Like, for example, as a Holy Paladin, because of your double beacon builds, you're able to sit there and put a beacon on each of the tanks, and then you see tons of heals going into the tanks. And then they heal the people that are in the group, and then they spot heal with like Holy Shock and things like that onto individuals during spikes. They also use, for example, AW, Avenging Wrath, in conjunction with an HP being on cooldown. So you can kind of correlate the two of them, like with Ring, or with like if you have a trinket, for example, that gives you, a proc in the area that you want, like for crit, for example, or you have your class trinket. You're able to tie those all in, and you see those quite used. So I've also added, for example, plan adjustments, which you'll see in the boss blueprints that I'll be doing. As far as what we're doing, and we're already applying them in normal. We did last night, which was really great. They worked out pretty well. You can see for each one of the bosses, I did a breakdown of all of them, including the ones where we don't have as many reps on. And then I talked with Masood, who's a friend of mine. He's the one that's been helping me with my healing. And I just want to give shouts out to him. Thank you so much for all the help that you've been able to give. And I hope that we can continue to collaborate on what we're creating. He gave a bunch of great insights. Like, for example, on Cormrock, I could put my hands of protection because the hands are physical. I could put that on an individual, or I can use DS on myself before a hands, and then freeze myself up from the hands being able to even be created and grab me, which allows me, for example, if there's additional runes out, for me to run through the runes, or the person to run to the runes and proc them, so that way they don't explode necessarily, or at least gives us time to be able to clear out some runes and get over and help. So it's a buyout, basically, to be able to circumvent how the mechanic works, because you remember a couple times we've had it blow up, and then, somebody's been standing right in front of it, and because of the hand, they couldn't do anything about it. So, a little something like that. And if somebody wants to do this one for another class or whatnot, this would be pretty cool. I'm just bored, and I want to have fun, and I know people who want to talk about it, so we talk about it. But I did it for every single one of the bosses. Tell me what you think about it. That's all for now. Continuing with recruitment, we'll see what we can get. Right now, we're just kind of working forward, and we'll see what we can do, okay? I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. If you're new to the channel, please click subscribe. Look at all the material that we've created between this and the website. The link's available in the description. And have a blessed day. I appreciate it. Thank you.